Hiya, I'm Mia. I'm an 18-year-old transfem, but am I trans enough for healthcare? 1 week ago, I had to go to the capital of Norway to get evaluated if I'm trans enough to get healthcare. The entire process of getting healthcare has been really dehumanizing, and I feel so incredibly sorry for anyone else who's going through something like this. Now let's take a step back and see how I got here. I found out I was trans like 1 year ago now. Last December. Christmas sucked. And ever since I found out I was trans, I've had one goal in mind, that is getting healthcare. Stuff like HRT, laser, all that. I've gotten the impression that many transfems online thinks that it's easy to get HRT in Norway. It's not. To understand this story, you probably need to know a bit about Norwegian trans healthcare, right? And Norwegian trans healthcare kinda goes like this. First step is of course realizing that you're trans, and then figuring out how to get trans healthcare. I don't know how it is now, but for me, oh my god, that was the most difficult thing ever. I knew I had to get to some kind of hospital, but I did not know how to get there, and the only reason I figured this out was joining the Trans Norway Discord server and asking people. You basically contact your GP and tell them that you're trans and need therapy. And then comes the long waiting list to get into therapy. And you either get into BUP or DPS, depending on if you're under 18 or over 18. When I was doing this, I was still 17, but I was just about to turn 18. And when you're done with an evaluation at BUP or DPS, they will send you to Rikshospitalet, or the Oslo University Hospital. And that's where they do the main chunk of all this evaluation, and that's where you get medication. You can pretty much get turned away at any of these points. My first hiccup in this entire journey is when I finally got to therapy. I was 17 at the time, and I got into BUP, which is for people that are under 18. I was turning 18 in a bit over a month when I finally got in there. So I finally was there. I've gotten to therapy. I was moving along the way to get HRT. So I go into the room. 2 therapists are waiting for me. We talk about me being trans and all the problems it's causing for me and that I want HRT. And then the therapist basically goes like this. Seeing how you're turning 18 in a bit over a month, we can't really help you. Because if we start any process here, you're probably gonna have to do it from a fresh start at DPS. And thus, we can't help you. I kept going to therapy there just to talk, but in my final session, my therapist told me that according to normal procedures, I was just supposed to be let go. It was my therapist that did not comply with the rules. I was just supposed to be let go, as someone who was struggling really hard at that time. And then the BUP sent me to DPS, which meant yet another waiting list. When I got into DPS, I had a really good therapist, which was a therapy student. He listened to me and was like, okay, yeah, we'll get this fixed, we'll get you sent to Riksen, we just need to talk about a bunch of stuff first. I thought getting to the point of trans healthcare was just difficult to trans people, but my therapist kept telling me about how difficult it was for him to figure out how to send me there, that there was no clear directive on how to do it. Yet my therapist managed to send me to Rikshospitalet. This happened in the start of the summer. After a while I finally got a letter from the hospital about when my appointment was. It was the 6th of December, which was basically half a year later from when I got that answer. So I waited patiently and that day came a week ago. Norwegian trans healthcare is kinda stupid because it all goes on down in the capital, which is at the bottom of the country. On the day where I had to go to the hospital, I had to wake up at 4 AM to fly down to the Big Apple of Oslo. That day I would end up being on the move for 14 hours. When I finally arrived at the hospital and found my way to the receptionist area for the trans part, something interesting happened. The receptionist called me to the counter and said, and I kid you not, "You are dead name, right?" I am dumbfounded. This is literally the receptionist for the trans or gender area. There's nothing else there. Well, it shares an area with like psychosis or something, but it's a different receptionist. This receptionist is only dealing with trans people, and she dead named me. She didn't use my surname, no. She had to use my first name, which I still haven't gotten legally changed. So I'm kinda ticked off. That's annoying, but I can make it through that. So I sit down, I wait for a while. A lady pops out of a door and calls me by my surname. Thank God. I go into her office, I sit down, and she just looks at me. And then I get the question, why are you here? I'm kinda confused now, because I would assume they know why I'm here. But I answered, oh yeah, I'm here to get trans healthcare, I want trans healthcare. And then she was like, what do you want from us? I'm like, I want healthcare, please? And this kept on going for like 5 minutes. Then I had to start explaining why I'm trans. And I kid you not, I explained why I was trans like 10 different times. from different ways. Like, oh, I always wanted to be a girl since I was a kid, I played with Barbies, all that stuff. To like, oh yeah, everyone refers to me as a girl in my life, I basically live as a girl, I am a girl. I kept reiterating, I am a girl. It really felt like I was talking to a wall. No offense to like the actual person in front of me, because they are just following the system and what they're told to do. But it really felt like I was talking to a wall, that none of my words actually meant anything. So after desperately scrambling and trying to say that I was trans for like ages, so she kind of just broke and went like, oh yeah, you might be trans. We have to evaluate that, and you will have many different people evaluating you themselves. And I'm like, great. Wonderful. I really felt like nothing happened in that room. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh yeah, in your next appointment we'll be telling you about gender identity. And I was just kind of shocked. It just suddenly happened. I got a next appointment, but then I asked, when is my next appointment? And she said, oh, I can't tell you that. There's a long waiting queue right now. Another waiting list. I hate waiting lists. What is this bureaucracy? This is stupid. And then I was sent out. I was asked if I had any further questions. I was real tired, so I just said no. And I was out. Didn't feel like anything had changed. I felt like I'd wasted my day, but that was about it. I didn't feel like I was seen for who I was, or that she was there to help me. It just kind of felt like an obstacle. Then I just started wondering on my walk to the metro station if I was trans enough. If I'm getting healthcare. I don't know how it will go. This is a long process and it takes many years, and frankly if I haven't gotten HRT already, I would be really struggling right now. I got HRT already. I've been on HRT for 7 months. I should not technically be on HRT, because this hospital is the only place in the country that is supposed to deal with trans people. Yet I've gotten it. But I feel so much for my fellow trans people who can't get it, because the way I've gotten it can't be replicated. And it's not weird that we're questioning if we're like trans enough or girl enough or whatever, because we're met by this institution that just drills us, an institution that sows doubt in us. It's difficult. Thank you for watching. I don't really know if this video is enjoyable at all. I just really needed to get this out of me and to tell someone. So if you're still listening to me, thank you so much. It means a lot. And if you're a trans person in a similar situation, you'll get through this. I believe in you.